Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, y'all. Just going to wait a few moments so people who are going to jump on live can jump on. For those of you watching this on replay, just bear with me for a few moments. If you're watching on replay and if you're watching live, please like this video. Please drop us a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Where are you in the world right now? What city, what county, what country? Where are you? Where are you? Let us know in the comments. It's so helpful to everybody in this community when you give these videos a like and a little comment, because I'm sharing I'm doing my best to share massive life transformation, healing, support, coaching, just from the fucking ground up. I don't charge a penny for this. I put exactly as much effort into this as I would into stuff that's paid, and all I ask in return is that you might like and comment, and if you feel inclined to, invite your friends to join the community as well, because it's completely free, no cost at all. Okay, so welcome, and it is great to be here. I'm just going to open my second screen here if my laptop allows, and that way I can scroll through the comments rather than sort of getting my finger in the way of you. Bear with me now. There's the perfect. So what I want to share with you this evening is Christina. Bonsoir. Comment allez-vous? Seamus Allard, good to hear from you, my friend. I remember we did some emotional release work, wasn't it? Did some training together back in the day. I remember we spent a really good day together in Limerick, wasn't it? Green Hills Hotel in Limerick, if I recall. Eileen, good evening. Hello there, how are you? Welcome along. Here's what I want to get into this evening. What I wish I knew years ago about triggers that I know now. And that's the central theme for tonight's live. And please interact with me in the comments, ask questions, throw it out there, take notes, whatever it is you want to do. And it is so good to be here, and it's so good to be getting back into the routine and the habit, if you like, of posting content in here. So I want to start by asking you a question. Have you ever felt overwhelmed where a simple comment or smell or sound, or even in certain situations, and in my case, this very week, a signpost, and I mean literally a road sign. Have you ever had a situation where something suddenly, just like that, pulls you into a flood of emotions? Just drop me a comment. If you feel comfortable to do so, give me a yes. Maybe you haven't, but has that ever happened to you where suddenly you're going along, everything is good, and suddenly just the weather on the inside changes completely? Has that ever happened to you? What I want to get into this evening with you is I want to explain what your triggers really are. And I'm going to share a personal story with you around triggers, and giving you, let's say, the first step to understanding and healing your triggers. And then I'm going to introduce an incredibly simple and absolutely brilliant tool that I thought up myself at the bottom of my swamp of my shit show. I figured this one out. And I'm sure it's a homogenization, pasteurization of lots of things that I would have read, and coaches and mentors and spiritual teachers I've worked with over the years. But this is one that I always come back to. I'm going to give that to you, and some information regarding another live I'm going to do tomorrow morning to follow this one up. I'm going to introduce you to, and don't worry, don't be afraid, because they're going around in your head and your emotions anyway. Tomorrow morning I'm going to introduce you to what your seven triggers are, how to notice them, how to work with them, to turn them to your advantage and change the whole game. And a little invitation for you at the end of this. So back to the beginning question. Have you ever felt overwhelmed? by your reactions, by your emotions. Where a simple comment, or smell, or sound, or in my case this week, an actual literal signpost, not a metaphor, an actual one, suddenly pulls you into a flood of emotions. And maybe you didn't even know why you were reacting so strongly. Seamus, I'm going to keep this on point, okay? I really, really want to keep this just on the topic we're on tonight, if that's okay, and thank you very much. My question to start is just to help us in a 3D human and 4D knowledge base, just literally for people to tune in and say like where they are. Like I'm in Listowel, County Kerry right now. And yes, it's very much in the cosmos, and it's very much in 5D and 9D and so on, and we could go down that road, but with respect, I'm not going to. I'm going to keep this very linear and straightforward and easy for everyone to understand, and I don't want anybody to feel triggered as well, and I'm sure you understand that, so if we can absolutely just stay on the road here, otherwise I'll get distracted and you and I could have an almighty brilliant conversation about all things universal, which we'll save that for another time. Okay? And as I said, I'm reading your comments there, and thank you for sharing that. And brilliant topic, and we're going to save that for another time. Let's stay on point. Triggers, and why we have them, and what they're about. Triggers can make us feel out of control. They can make us feel out of control, like we're reacting to something much bigger than this moment itself. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, then you're not alone. Now here's something I wish I had known years ago about triggers. Triggers are not random and they're not meaningless. They are messengers, you could say. Not necessarily just messengers from our past. They're messages from parts of ourselves that are hurting, scared, overlooked, sometimes for many years, sometimes for decades. So many people, very sadly, live their whole lives and never get out of that place. Now, the irony, if you like, of it at the most human level is that triggers are not there to make us weak or broken. Triggers are signals. Triggers are not even so much warnings. They're signals from our nervous system saying, hey, I'm still here, I'm still holding on to this pain here, wanting to release it so we can win at whatever the situation is. That they're not random, they're signposts. They could be buried inside an echo from our past. And it is an echo. Hi Mary, welcome along. Christina says, clutter getting out of control. Okay, and is there a trigger? Is there an emotion? Is there a feeling behind that? That would be the trigger. So a trigger isn't a random thing. It's a signpost. It could come up in a random moment. Yes, like me with the signpost the other day, when I felt overwhelmingly sad. Overwhelmingly sad. The name on a road sign, which was very, very close, almost identical to a word that my eldest child, who's now 21, used to say when she was like 18 months old. And suddenly, it was so strange because on the one hand, I felt really happy, but at the same time, I also felt very, very sad. Now, here's the thing which we'll do in future videos. Joy and sadness are so close together. Oh my God, they're so close together. And you know this because have you ever been so happy about something that you were in floods of tears? The birth of my children. Blubbed like a baby. I was the happiest man in the universe, but the tears were flowing. And sometimes that still happens. I could be really, really happy about something and there's tears. Yeah, I get very emotional and I'm completely okay with that. But here's the thing, the trigger, the situation might be a random thing happening in the moment, but the trigger, the emotion that's coming up is a signpost buried inside an echo from our past. Because the thing isn't happening right now. So me seeing the signpost wasn't the source of this emotion. Does that make sense? This wasn't my first rodeo. It wasn't the first time I'd felt that feeling. Does this make sense? Are you with me? So our triggers are actually calling out to us, hey, I'm here, and I'm calling out, I'm calling you out, and I'm calling out for attention and healing. That's what your trigger is trying to do. I'm calling out for attention and healing. And healing starts with awareness. And you are not alone on this journey. I am walking this journey and sometimes crawling this journey every moment of every day, which is what took me into the area of service. I would never call this work or a job. I absolutely love what it is that I get to do every day, working with beautiful people such as you, in real and on Zoom and in groups and so on, coaching and mentoring and facilitating change, transformation. Now for me, my journey with triggers started a long time ago, almost 50 years ago. And this might be a trigger for some of you watching. And again, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to a professional, reach out to friends. Don't just sit in your triggers. Remember, they're signposts looking for attention and healing. They want you to heal. You want you to heal. So when I was 3 years old, I found my dad's body in his car. He had died very tragically, very suddenly. He was my whole world. It was a summer's day, skipping down the garden with my long curly blonde hair. You can imagine that. Probably going down to call my daddy for his breakfast first thing in the morning, and all was well with the world until I got to the car and opened the car door and my dad is dead across the two front seats. And as a 3-year-old, I knew that the emotions of it wouldn't really land. They couldn't land because I'm only 3. But those emotions would unfold catastrophically, Armageddonally, over the next decades. That moment didn't just shape my childhood. It sent shockwaves through my entire life for decades to come. For years, for decades, I didn't understand why certain things would suddenly shake me to my core. And it can still happen to this day. Like Wednesday, 2 days ago, that morning, having a great day. And I was attending something with another one of my daughters, and I was so proud of her efforts. And I'm driving home after leaving her back to her mum and thinking like how far we've come, because that used to be an awful, terrible situation. You know, the breakup of that marriage just took me to my knees, and all of the problems that took me into. That almost ended up in my not being a free man anymore, and the colossal nearly 500,000 deaths. Won't go into that, bore you with that this evening. But these were all things, and they all came from the childhood stuff. But I never understood why I would feel panic or sadness or anger for no obvious reason. I never understood why I got fired from jobs for no obvious reason. I never understood why I got in trouble with the law for no obvious reason. I didn't realise then that these were triggers. Echoes. Nothing is happening right now in that moment. Does this make sense to you? You with me? Like the moment is okay. The moment is perfectly okay and safe. But echoes of a trauma long buried and never fully healed. Yeah? Like the signpost the other day suddenly made me joyful to remember this word from my eldest girl when she was 18 months old. And also the profound sadness that went with it. I also understand what that trigger is. That would have been my 3-year-old self for a moment contemplating being abandoned, being rejected, not being loved, and then doing the work on myself when I got home. This is really, really important, to do the work. You work with a therapist or a coach or a counsellor or a very dear, highly trusted, non-judgmental friend, somebody, because we can't do this work on our own. Well, we do a lot of the work on our own, but we need to have support, and we need to have love, and we need to have nourishment, maybe friends, maybe professionals, because the eye can't see itself, it needs a mirror. So I've come home and I'm doing the work and I'm writing in my journal and drilling down and drilling down and drilling down until I figured out what it was. Now I'll go into more detail on that tomorrow when I go into what your 7 triggers are. I'm going to be live at 11 o'clock Irish time tomorrow morning explaining your 7 triggers to you. But what came up for me there was sadness at the fact that I got left behind when I was little. My dad left. And I probably would definitely, when I was growing up, I would have formed a belief that it was my fault, right? That I wasn't lovable enough for him to stay alive in the world, let's say, you know, because life suddenly took him away from me. Okay, so what I learned, fast forward to now, okay, what I've learned through my experiences and becoming a coach and a mentor and a facilitator in healing and transformation. Triggers can lose their power over you. You can dissolve the power that a trigger has over you. Does a trigger have power over you? It shouldn't have power over you. Do you want to dissolve the power it has over you? You can do that. It is possible. But it only happens when we become aware of what the trigger is. Okay? That's the first step, awareness. Because otherwise what's happening is, and is this you? And again, don't judge yourself if it's you. Just observe. Do you do this sometimes? I still do, but I catch it faster. Which is what's inspired me to come on and do this video today. If we fight the feelings when we're in resistance to healing, if we fight the feelings, we're holding on to them. It's like we're taking that inner child that had that thing happen and punched them in the face, right? And then we let the child run our brain and all the sort of nonsense lies that we tell ourselves. I can't cope, I'm not lovable, I'm not loved, I'm not good enough. Who the hell do I think I am to open that business? Who the hell do I think I am to apply for that job, to ask that person out on a date, and so on. Yeah? Have you ever had anything like that? So that happens when we're fighting the feelings. When we know how to stop fighting the feelings, when we know how to stop fighting the feelings, and when we know how to really listen to the feelings, to what they're telling us, and there's going to be a lie in there, there's going to be a limiting belief in there. And when we know how to turn that belief around and now feel the feelings of the opposite, very positive, real truth about ourselves, well, now we're able to meet those parts of ourselves. We can bring in compassion, we can bring in understanding, we can bring in buckets of love towards ourselves. We feel it, we can change, we feel different immediately. It's also really important to work with someone. If you're going to do this trigger work, to work with someone. Because the eye cannot see itself. It doesn't have to be me, it can be me. And I was going to leave it till the end, but I'll just pop it in here. You can absolutely reach out to me and book a complimentary call. We can have a conversation to see, is there somewhere that you want to get out of, to get from here to there? What is it you want to get rid of? What is it costing you? Is that a pain you want to hold on to? What is the result you want? And we can help you devise what that map would be, what that result would look like, what it would feel like, and talk about how you would get yourself there. And if that's a conversation you want to have, reach out to me. That conversation costs you nothing. But reach out to somebody. Also, friends, really important. One of the things that we can do if we are not healing and we are still in our trauma, reliving it, we isolate ourselves. We need nourishment. We need support. And the reason for the professional help is some gentle accountability. Somebody to walk us through our resurrection and our transformation. So here's the simple, powerful tool that I mentioned at the start that I came up with when I was right down in my bucket of shit. I almost took my life twice. And as I said, I was nearly $500,000 in debt. Almost went to jail for 3 years. Managed to turn all those things around. They didn't happen. I'm still here. And one of the most powerful tools that helped me regain control of my mind and my heart, if you like, is this one. You ready? And if you want to go along with me with this one, you can, if it's safe to do so, take a nice deep breath in and out. And just slow your breathing down. Breathing in nice and slowly. And breathing out for longer than in. Twice as long out if possible. So for example, if you're breathing in for a count of 3, breathe out for a count of 6. If you're breathing in for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 8, if you can. Keep doing that, breathing like this, in and out for double. You're recalibrating your nervous system. You're getting into your parasympathetic nervous system. Rest, ease, flow. And ask yourself this question. Are you safe right now? Pop it in the comments. If you are safe right now in this moment, as in you're not about to die, there's no lions and tigers and bears running after you, you have a roof over your head, you have food today, somebody living or past loves or loved you and you love them, and your life is not under threat right in this moment, are you safe? Are you safe right now in this moment? If the answer is yes, then write in the comments, I am safe. Write exactly that. I am safe. And I want you to notice it and pay attention to it. That's the first part. Write in the comments, I am safe. Just give you a moment for those of you watching. There'll be a lot of people watching a replay. Now, the second part. We started this live maybe something around 25, 30 minutes ago. Were you safe then? Was your life under threat right then? Were you in mortal peril half an hour ago? No, you weren't. Was the house on fire? Were you on fire? No. Were you safe half an hour ago? Yes, you were. Were you safe yesterday? Yes, you were. Now, here's the question. Before we get into the actual statement, the second statement, statement number 1, I am safe. This is always true. This is always true. Okay? At some point we'll die, not right now. After that, when you go to another dimension, you're not going to care about any of this stuff. So we'll just park that for now. Okay? We're always safe in this moment. And that's the only thing that exists is this moment. Okay. If you go back to years ago in a very, very challenging moment, a moment that you thought you wouldn't get through that moment, you thought this is the one that'll finish me off. You survived it. You're here. So can you see that you were safe? You made it? And out of every challenging, awful experience you've ever had, how many of those have you survived? All of them, right? So it would be fair to say and true to say that you have always been safe. Yes? So, if you can see that and realise that I have always coped, I've always managed, I've always made it, I have always been safe, write that in the comments. I have always been safe. I have always been safe. I'll just give you a moment to write that. I'm going to write them down too. I am safe. I have always been safe. And as I said in many videos before, there's something in the writing of it. Basically, long story short, you light up all the positive, uplifting, empowering, parasympathetic nervous system parts of your brain when you write with a pen on paper. When you write it out, you write it out. But for now, type it in the comments for me. I have always been safe. If you're watching this video, type in the comments, I have always been safe. Because you have always been safe. Because you're here. Now, this live video will end in a couple of minutes. Can you have faith to know that you will be safe when we get to the end of this? Can you trust and have faith that when you go to bed tonight, you'll be safe? And again, let's just park the, well, you never know, I might have a heart attack and die, or I could have a coronary, or the house could explode and me with it, or yeah. But after we die from our human life, after we leave our human body, this stuff doesn't bother us anymore. We're up on a different dimension, and that's a whole other conversation that was alluded to earlier on. But for now, in our human body, being alive, let's take it as a fact that you're going to be alive tonight and tomorrow and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Okay? Okay. Go with me on this. Is it true to say that when you go to bed tonight, you will be safe? When you wake up in the morning, you will be safe. When you wake up on Monday, you will be safe. 1 year from today, number one, you won't even remember the things that worry you today, and you will still be safe. 5 years from now, you will still be safe. Yes? Because you will always cope. You have always coped. You are always coping. You will always cope. So you can know for certain and tell your brain and tell the monkey mind, I will always be safe. It's true. Write it in the comments. And I'm going to write it on my page. I will, type that in the comments, everybody. I will always be safe. So your 3 statements, and take them away with you, write them down. This is a real tool when you feel those triggers coming up, and we'll go into the triggers specifically tomorrow. I am safe. Put your hand on your heart, slow breathing. I am safe. I have always been safe. I will always be safe. Now, if you want to, you can also form this into a prayer, which is asking, and you can ask whatever it is that you ask. You can ask God, you can ask the universe, you can ask divine, you can ask source, you can ask your higher self. Ask, please bring me back to safe. Please bring me back to safe. Please bring me back to love. Bring me back to safe. Bring me back to love. I am safe. I've always been safe. I will always be safe. And you can ask whatever your higher power, your God of your understanding is. Show me. Please let me see this. Please let me feel this. This is so, so powerful. Don't take my word for it. Give it a go. I thought this was all poo poppycock till I started giving this a go and opening those Pandora's boxes. Oh my goodness. Okay? It sounds really simple. It is really simple, but over time, it completely rewires your central nervous system. I am safe. I've always been safe. I will always be safe. You're teaching your body right now, in this moment, I'm not in danger. This is so important. Because people who actually end their lives by themselves, they do so because they feel that there's a danger that they cannot get beyond, that it's too great for them, and they're doing themselves the greatest favour by ending this human experience, and that they're doing their loved ones a favour too. It's so not true. And I've personal experience, having almost gone down that road myself a couple of times, and people very, very near and dear to me, several of them, ending their lives. And it's just sadness beyond comprehension. But what I know from personal and now professional experience is, it is the part that wants healing. The pain wants to die. The pain wants to end. Does that make sense? It's the pain that wants to end. Not all of you. Just the darker part of you. We can't let that part run the show. But if we fight that part, we make it stronger, if you like. So the way to take back our power is listen. Okay? From a safe place. This is where healing begins. So now I've got 3 very, very powerful coaching questions for you to finish up. What are some triggers that keep showing up in your life that pull you out of balance? Don't get triggered by them. They're going around anyway. They're in your head, they're in your body. So maybe just notice 3. What are things that keep showing up? It could be, when this happens, I feel this. When I see something that reminds me of something, I feel sad. When this happens, I feel angry. Yeah? It could also be a combination. It could be like, when I'm tired and somebody asks me something important, I get very frustrated and anxious and annoyed. I'm aware they are triggers of mine, so now everybody who knows me knows, don't send me important stuff after a certain time at night. Don't ask me important questions after a certain time. By all means, catch me when I'm fresh, when I'm available. I also set boundaries that I'm not always available. You know, you have a do not disturb button on your phone. Use it. Okay? So questions. What are some triggers that keep showing up in your life that pull you out of balance? Next question. What might those triggers, if you understand that that trigger is a signpost, it's looking for attention to get to healing, what might that trigger be trying to tell you that you need? Maybe an unmet need or something that needs to be healed. How will your life completely change when you start meeting your triggers with curiosity, compassion, wisdom, and curiosity instead of resistance? How will your life change? Jot those questions down, think about them, journal on your answers. Let me know your answers if you like, reach out to me. So if you've ever felt like your emotional reactions are out of your control, if you're tired of being completely surprised by your own red light, low level, disturbing emotions. Know this from personal experience. Your transformation is absolutely possible. You have to know that that's true, and you have to want it, and you have to know that it's there for you, and the real you is underneath. It only happens when we become aware. We want to heal and grow and shine and be happy. And when we start really listening to what those feelings are trying to tell us with compassion and understanding, and perhaps a mirror and a light and nourishment and support, and maybe some professional gentle accountability, you absolutely will change your relationship with your triggers, and you will turn them from stumbling blocks, going arse over tit, landing on your face. You will turn them into growth, which will blow you away. Trust me. This is my life, and it's the life of the thousands of people that I've had the privilege and pleasure to work with over the last maybe 13, 14 years. And your results will show you that you'll turn your triggers from stumbling blocks into growth, which will blow you away. So just for today, remember this. When the trigger hits you, pause, slow down, breathe. Notice the weather has changed on the inside. Slow your breathing right down. Recalibrate your nervous system and say, I am safe. I have always been safe. I will always be safe. Say it as many times as you need to till you feel it. And you'll feel the shift. Teach your body to be here in the present moment, which is peace, being, awareness, happiness. It's the only thing that actually exists. So, remember, what is your trigger trying to tell you? How will your life change when you meet it with curiosity and love and understanding, not fear? And what small step can I take today towards that freedom? Tomorrow morning, I'm keeping myself accountable. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Irish time, I'm going to go live again here with a video which I'm going to call Your 7 Triggers. I'm going to explain to you what your 7 triggers are, where they might come from, and what you can do about them. And this is just going to turn the whole game around for you. If you feel like you're ready to explore this stuff deeper, if you want some support on your journey, if you have healing work that you want to do, mentoring, coaching work you want to do, I'm offering complimentary coaching calls for people who are serious about this, who just want to take the next step, but maybe you're not sure what it is. Reach out to me. You can private message me on Messenger or WhatsApp. You can email me at eamonsmithcoaching@gmail.com. Have a conversation with me. That first conversation will cost you $0. Kelly Presley, fantastic to hear from you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So if you're looking for some help, some support, reach out to me. I would absolutely love to help you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Join me tomorrow morning. Set your reminders for 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, live Irish time, or watch on replay if you're working or something, for a breakdown of what your 7 triggers are. It's always one or more of these 7, and how to work through them and how to turn them into signposts for your growth. Remember, your healing is a journey. Every forward movement is a movement towards your freedom, your happiness, real you, and you deserve that. Okay? What a great note to finish on. So we'll take a moment to just ground ourselves after all of that wonderful work. At least I hope it was wonderful and enlightening for you. Kelly says, I'm doing great new life now. I remember very fondly. I remember you were with me for last year. We did some coaching together, and I'm so happy to hear that. Feel free to reach out to me and drop me a private line. Let me know what's going well for you. That's great news. That's why I love what I do. So we'll just all close our eyes if it's safe to do so. And just for a few moments, just a few seconds, a mini meditation. This is a grounding tool, another tool for you. Grounding, and you can get yourself grounded and here and present and okay and all is well in seconds. Here we go. Close your eyes. Nice deep breath in and out. Breathing all the way in and out. I am safe. I have always been safe. I will always be safe. And bring your awareness down into your lower tummy. What does it feel like in your belly right now? Is it warm? Are you full? Are you hungry? Just bring all your awareness and all your feeling to your tummy. And bring that awareness down through your legs and down into the ground. Notice that you are grounded, you're on the ground, connected to earth. Connect that awareness to the ground, grounding yourself. And now bring that awareness back up through your feet and legs and up through your hips and up through your tummy, and bring that awareness up into your heart. And feel your heart inside your body. And you can bring your hand up to your heart if you like as well for extra awareness. And now bring that awareness up into your throat. Become aware of your throat. And now bring that awareness up to a point inside your head, at the back of your head, behind your thoughts. Leave them there. And expand all that awareness inside you and extend it out into your energy bubble, and there's you sealed safely, gently inside this completely invisible energy bubble. And just stay in that for a few moments. Trust. Just trust. Trust the present moment. And just very gently, slowly opening your eyes and coming back. Wonderful. That's fantastic, Kelly. New job, new partner, new home. Isn't it amazing what we can do when we set the intention and we work and we keep moving steadfastly in the direction of our dreams? And Kelly, that is evidence that when you set the intentions, do the work, release whatever's in the way, the intentions appear. Your dreams turn into reality. I'm so pleased for you. What a wonderful place to finish up. So I'll say good night to you. Join me live tomorrow morning or on replay if you can't join live, but do try and join live if you can, and we'll take a breakdown on what your 7 triggers are and how to turn those around to be your allies. And we'll see you then. Enjoy your evening.